Alrighty, hello everyone. So I'm gonna do a short video about how to get about the easiest way to get your CDL permit. People that like to drive trucks, semi trucks with the endorsements they prefer, if they want to take them or not. So I got my CDL a long time ago, and these tests, they have 99% of the questions that you'll find at the DMV. Not that you just have the test, but you also have the optional answers. The way these tests are made is that they're extremely similar to the tests at the DMV. In this download, you have total of 9 files. So you have 7 tests. 3 are mandatory. That's the general knowledge, combination vehicle, and air brakes. You will have to take those tests at the DMV no matter what. And then you have the endorsement, Hazmat, that double triple, Hazmat, tank, and passenger endorsement. So these tests are the way they're made is that it's a flash player file each test. So you will need a flash player. You will need a device that supports flash player. Some phones do, but the best way to practice is to use a computer. You can play these tests on Windows just as they are, like this, with a double click, or you can play them on a Mac computer, Apple computer, whatever. You just need to have your computer supports flash. The way you open the tests on Windows 10 or Windows 7, either way, so you just double click, the test will load. Alright, so the test will load, and let me see if you can see from here. If not, I'll move the phone a little bit. So you see up left, so you have file, view, control, and play. These tests, every test will show expired, but you need to click control, select control, and then go play. So this is the general knowledge test. They're total around 240 questions, so you don't have to read the whole book 10 times and try to remember the whole book. All right. What you need to do with these tests is to practice. Like, my suggestion would be that you practice at least 1 week before you go to take the 3 mandatory tests. That's without the endorsements. Try to practice like 2-3 hours a day. And when you go to the DMV, each test, make sure you don't have more than 2 to 3 mistakes per test. Alright, so okay, this is the general knowledge. The way these tests are, like, these same optional answers will be given at the DMV. If you select the wrong answer here, it will show you. Alright, so question number 1, blah blah blah. I'm gonna select any, and I'm gonna click enter. That's the correct answer, and the file continues to the next question. I'm just selecting randomly. I don't know if I'm lucky or not. If you select the wrong answer, it will tell you, alright, which one is the right one. Here on the top right, where it says begin from, right here, you can select, let's say you want to start from question number 50. Alright, you can jump if you practice the first 50 questions. So it's the same story. You select, and that's how you practice. It's showing you which one is correct, so you can learn. This is the easiest way to get your permit, I guarantee you. Alright, I got my permit using these tests. Alright, so these tests were created, and they are updated every year because DMV is making some slight changes. So it's a good idea to put those changes into these tests. There are some resellers online, but these tests are protected by the intellectual property. So my lawyer is taking care of that, things like that. But the thing is that these tests, as I said, is the easiest way to get your CDL permit. And then you can practice with someone in a truck, or you can go to a school or whatever. If you go to a trucking school, the trucking school will charge you around, you'll need roughly around 1 or 2 weeks to get your permit, and you'll have to pay, that trucking school to train you. Like, for example, tests like this. So you're gonna spend around $1,000 at the trucking school. I'm gonna put a link in the description how to get these tests. I have these tests on Amazon or eBay. You can find them, you can download them. The only difference between eBay and Amazon is that on Amazon they're charging like 2-3 times more fees than eBay is charging. So there are two ways to get them. You can get them downloaded. I'll email them to you. The other way to get them is in the mail on a USB memory stick, so I can do that too. So these tests are on a federal level, all right? So they will work in any state, 99% guaranteed, all right? 99%, same questions, same optional answers. I've sold over 300 tests. People from Florida, Washington, Oregon, Wyoming, Wisconsin, Maine, California, Texas, just name it, all right? They work everywhere. Everything that you need to know, it's in these tests, all right? Everything that you will get as a question, an optional answer at the DMV on the computer when you're taking those tests is included in these tests, blah blah. All right, so yeah, this is the general knowledge. Every test is like this, all right? So here you have general knowledge. Combination vehicle is the second test. Air brakes 3, those are mandatory. And then you have double, triple endorsement, hazmat, tank, passenger, and then you have the player to play the tests on if you don't have a flash player on your Windows computer. And then you have the file to read only file. It's a text file. It talks about most of the things I said. How to open the test, how to play the tests. You can for example, some people ask me, how about the pre-trip inspection? All right, so when I took my test at the DMV, all right, the best way to practice for that is that after you get your permit using these tests, all right, you can go to any trucking school and tell them, okay, I have the permit, can I start the training in a truck if you really need the training? And also the trucking school will provide pre-trip inspection book. So the main thing about the pre-trip is that the best way to learn it is you see the truck, you see the parts, you need to say something about if there are any leaks here and there, the air brakes, stuff like that. You have to check the trailer, the markings, things like that. So the best way to learn it, that's the second stage. The first stage is getting your permit. Okay, you take your medical test, you go to the DMV, you pay the fee, whatever, you take the test if you're ready that day, if you practice using these tests, and then you get your permit. Then as the second step, if you don't have any experience, go to the trucking school, learn the pre-trip, and then drive a truck, with an instructor or whatever, and then the last step is going to the DMV. I will divide the CDL, getting a CDL license in. I'll tell you how the procedure goes. So first you get a medical. You go to the DMV. You take these tests. Okay, you get your permit. You go to a trucking school. You practice backing up, alley dock inspection, in-cabin inspection, air brakes, walk-around inspection. On the field test, they're gonna ask you to do parking, alley dock, stuff like that. Everything that has to do with driving a truck, you have to go to a school. But before that, if you want to save yourself at least $1,000, the best way to do it is get your permit on your own. And then you go to a trucking school for like a couple of weeks, you practice, and then you go to the school and you take your test. All right. I have friends which, they were like, I can pass all the tests just using the book. The book is big, all right? There are too many things, details that you have to remember, things that you don't actually need to remember. What is the most important is that these tests are everything you need. If you want to get it, if you want to go for any endorsement, you can go later, or you can do it at the time when you're taking the first 3 mandatory tests. But yeah, I think that should be it. Let me try to open. Yeah, combination vehicle is the same story. You double click and then you go control and play. So in order to play these tests on a Mac computer, on an Apple computer, you will have to download a file called Wine Bottler. All right. So you will have to install this file. Software. So Wine Bottler, what actually does is that you can run Windows app programs on a Mac computer. All right. So just download it, install it. If you have on your Mac, restriction for a third-party software or whatever, just disable that, install this, and then you can open the tests. I'm not a big fan of this Windows 10, honestly. I prefer the Windows 7, but what can you do? Things change. So yeah, it's the same story with the combination vehicle. It's the same story with, with any other test. This is the easiest way, to get your CDL permit. Let me see. Where did it go? Oh, okay, here they are. So yeah, here you have the Hazmat, air brakes, double, triple passengers. So as I said, these are this software. It's protected intellectual property. It's reselling it or redistributing it, it's illegal. But you can get it for a very affordable price. The biggest investment if you want to become a trucker, honestly, it will cost you between $3,000 and $5,000 minimum. Why am I saying that is because, first of all, I save $1,000 by getting the permit on my own. All right, that was $1,000. I had to go to a trucking school for roughly 2 months, and it was not easy to get an appointment at the DMV. So I didn't work for 2 months. I had to pay bills. I had to go to the school every day, practice, with the truck. But first of all, I had to get my CDL permit. So if you want to be a truck driver, you have to start the investment. This is like the minimum investment, getting these tests, and this is I guarantee you the easiest way to get your CDL permit. The easiest way and the most affordable way. If you go to a trucking school, they'll put you in class and they're gonna, tell you this and that. But the biggest investment you do at the beginning is that if you get these tests, you have to study for like a few hours a day, couple of days. I would say, practice at least a week for the 3 mandatory general knowledge, combination vehicle, and the air brakes, and then extra time for the endorsements if you go for any. So yeah, this is the easiest way. The biggest investment you do, the most time you spend is that after getting these tests, you have to study them. All right, you have to study them really good. Like I said at the beginning, you will have to practice so you have less than 2 or 3 mistakes per test before you go to the DMV. All right, so I'm just selecting randomly questions, just so you can see, it's showing you which one is the correct one. So if this happens when you're doing, practicing, stop, try to remember it, or write it down if you have to. And then if you want to go back, this is question number 3. What you can do is that you can go back, same question, and then, select the right answer. Make sure you read what it's saying. Don't practice just like, oh, it's A, B, or C. Oh, it's A, B, or C. Oh, this is A, this is B, this is C. Because the DMV, what they do is that certain answer, they will move it up or down. All right. So these are not in the same order like at the DMV, because the DMV doesn't keep them in the same order. All right. You have to read what it says on the top, the question, and then you have to match the answer. That's the best way to learn. All right. So yeah, that will be it. I'm gonna finish this video with this. And now I'm gonna put in the description how to get the tests. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. All right. Bye.